Welcome everyone to our Set 5 Seeds of Unity Altered Card Reveal for Set 5. I'm super excited for this set.
So excited.
We were off to a little bit of a rocky start, you can say, but put that behind us.
Yes.
The set release is around the corner.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm excited. How has season 4 been treating you? Let's start with that.
Yeah, season 4, I was playing at Saudi before this. Season 4, we came into it. Christmas kind of killed my motivation for a little bit, but right after Christmas, I came right back into it. Been playing a lot of Basira again. We both played in the qualifiers. That was super fun. So that's been kind of what I've been up to.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, not much is new. Been playing Kojo as always. However, been playing kind of my homebrewed Icebound Peak version, which honestly, like, I don't think many people are playing, which is pretty surprising to me. I think it's a super powerful card.
Yep.
It's definitely underrated and underplayed.
You've destroyed me a couple times with it, so yeah,
it's a good deck, and I've seen a lot of success on the ladder with it. Unfortunately, hasn't necessarily transferred to much tournament success, although I don't play much tournaments. Like, I don't do the weeklies and that, but yeah, like the qualifier kind of, I feel like I could have definitely played better there, but it is what it is. I'll have you know though, I did play some Muna this set.
Very cool.
Tried one of the new heroes, Kari, played her a bit. Yeah, was interesting, like different, you know, change of pace.
Yeah, for
change
sure.
of pace,
Yeah,
plays very differently, giving your opponent a token and trying to build off of that. But it was definitely fun. It was fun. And also, I played some Tasia Festival.
Okay. Oh my gosh, how could you?
Tasia
No, that's
Festival.
awesome. Festivals pretty fun. I even though it gets a lot of hate online, I think it's very reasonable deck. Sometimes it wins turn 3 and you're very sad, but otherwise it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels really powerful. But all paths for me lead back to Bravos.
Of course.
I did play a bit of Axiom, which I was playing Peak as well, so it's kind of very similar
for sure.
to that. But yeah, at the end of the day, Kojo is the most played for me. So, okay, so our last reveal, our last card reveals, we had Fire Rabbit, which is staple in Bravos, probably.
Still staple.
Still staple, one of the most played in the common slot. Then we had the Pastry Chef.
Doesn't say too much.
Unplayable card, let's just say that.
Yeah.
And then our last card reveal, which we did together for Skybound, was sadly the weakest addition to the Jin family in Smoldering Jin.
Yeah.
So we're on a bit of a rough streak there.
I do think we did call it right with the crazy uniques though, especially in Axiom. I've seen some really, really great Smoldering Jin uniques that have just popped off. Though.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
you know what? That's been pretty cool.
we did call that
Yeah,
exactly, and otherwise not really that playable.
Yes, for sure.
So, you know, as you guys can tell, we're Bravos Ride and Die. It's no secret. We've been revealing Bravos cards, so that's not changing. Hopefully, we can get on a better streak with a card that is a little more playable. And I do believe we're actually going to be the last Bravos card reveal.
Ooh, exciting.
So,
okay.
Sorry to keep you guys waiting for that.
Yeah.
But Graham, why don't you do the honors?
The common was already revealed by Loki in Discord. You probably saw it. You should go check it out there. It looks very, very cool. Also, thank you so much for A Guy Trying and Altered TCG blog. They've been keeping track of all the reveals and everything over the time. Thank you so much. Keeping up the community.
Resources.
It's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, here's the, we're going to re-show the common version first of Rider's Mask. So a 1/1, which is an expedition permanent to gear, similar to like Milk, etc. And the effect on it is that you tap it and pay 1, and the next character that joins my expedition, so the expedition that the card is in, this turn gains 2 boosts.
Yep. And it does have a little text there just to clarify and make sure, if you're thinking about it, characters joining when you pass still join this turn.
Yeah,
obviously
very cool.
for Soul, right?
Yes, that makes sense. Very cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's awesome, and we will also show our rare version.
Correct.
Inside of
I think
Bravos.
everyone's seen the comments, so our true reveal is coming right up.
Yeah. Again, a Rider's Mask. So awesome here. Art's amazing. Again, a 1/1. That has not changed. The Expedition permanent. But what has changed is that, first of all, boosted characters in this expedition are tough 1, which has been very key for a lot of strategies lately, especially with Parliament last game.
Yep.
And also when you tap, you can pay any amount of mana, and the next character that joins this expedition gains that much mana amount of boosts.
Yep.
Very cool card. Yeah.
Yep. So technically, does that mean you could actually not pay anything and just have it stay on the board to give your characters tough?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Right?
that would be really cool.
You play it out for 1, it just stays there. Anything on that side has tough 1. And like, you don't have to tap it, right? It can just sit there, and if you want to tap it, it's ready to go, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a really cool usage of it, yeah, because you just get that tough out there, and tough can be so important in a lot of different matchups against Izmir or some of the more like Sigismar matchups and that kind of thing. Like really important to keep your boosted characters around for things like license withdrawal, etc.
Yeah, it's really nice against that Siggy matchup, which can be tough.
Yeah.
Even like against Hooked for Traced.
Yeah, true.
And it also works, I'm pretty sure, when a character has an effect that targets a character, right?
Yes.
So, and now you can start stacking that tough, right? You have Ashes, you get a tough there. You have Rider's Mask, you have a tough there. You can have a character with tough. So really starting to stack that protection up, which is much appreciated.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, what? And you have any other thoughts? What like, is this gonna be a playable card? What are you thinking? The common, the rare?
Yeah, I was trying so hard to think about like why is this good? Let's compare it to other cards. And one of the things that we have to look at is in Bravos we get a lot of boosts, right?
Yep.
Like if you think of physical training, it's 3 mana for 3 boosts and draw a card, right? So we always have a little bit of an upside. And so this is, you are able to pay that X amount of like mana for more boosts, and you get that tough. So I think it is not quite the draw the card like equivalent, but because it can stay around in the field and be reused multiple times, if your expedition does not move forward, it really lets you get a lot of value out of this card, and I think that's very cool.
And also, what's nice is like if you're maybe lower on cards and you need to kind of like fill out your mana for that turn.
Yeah.
With the rare, you could tap, 4 and give 4 boosts, right? And just kind of like fill out your curve that way. So I think that's really interesting that you can just choose how much of it you actually want to use.
Yeah. And the fact that it comes later, right? So if you think of how you have to give out boosts now, you need to play your characters into an expedition, and then you need to play your boost cards. This way you can play this, kind of let your opponent pick and choose what expeditions they want to go for, and then you can play your big cards and decide to boost them later. And so I think that's a really, really valuable thing that Bravos doesn't have a lot of, because they have to often have creatures come out first and then play their spells or expeditions or equipment. Like Milk was really unfortunate for that you had to play it first, then it really indicated like, I'm going for this expedition, they could counter that, etc.
It could be bait too though, right?
Yeah, that's true. I got baited in the qualifiers against that, especially with bait with like hunger and things like that. You're like, oh, they're gonna go this side, and they go the other side. And just screws up your whole
I
plan.
love doing that. I love those mind games.
Yeah. The other thing that we were talking about too is that in other TCGs, the Voltron idea, right, where you're building up one big character, trying to make them really, really powerful, very, very cool. And I think this is that archetype starting to evolve inside of Altered. We haven't really seen it too much before, and so I think that Voltron idea of like, let's get the mask on this guy. I'm excited for maybe there'll be a sword or something other. So there's some other cards too, right?
I mean, the only other card that comes to mind that we do have a little bit of that is, maybe you could say the technical boots, right?
Right.
Like you've got your mask, you've got your boots, and maybe we'll get some gloves.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Right?
Now you have this superhero card that's super boosted. They're now losing fleeting every turn so that you can replay them maybe with seasoned or something like that. Yeah, I think some kind of like combination card is going to be so cool.
Yeah. And, for me, I think in general, kind of what you alluded to, 1 mana cards, you can never count them out, right?
Yes, for sure.
they're so good in Altered to give you that after you effect, slow play a little bit, see what your opponent's gonna do. So it can fit into a number of different decks depending on what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And with this card, even setting up, like playing an after you now and setting up for like a future turn, right?
Really
so
big,
I think that's really good. And then Soul comes to mind.
Right, yeah,
Right?
especially with that extra text. Like, I honestly it didn't even like register with me at first to be like, oh right, that's a really important for Soul. Yeah, that's super cool.
This artwork, by the way, from Seeds,
Oh,
just an
it's-
alternate art for the heroes
I'm
and stuff.
so excited for the alt arts and all the like fancy boosters and collector boosters. It's gonna be that I'm really excited about. Some actual like finally like huge hits that are not just uniques. It's
Yeah,
great.
for sure. I don't know how much you've seen of Seeds, but Soul's actually getting a lot of tools
Cool.
for the rush mechanic.
Nice. Okay.
And, I think that's another benefit is when you're rushing, sometimes you can run into, a mana issue, right?
Yeah. Right.
But, even for other heroes,
Yeah.
right? Like if you want to play a rush card with Soul, you're front loading your mana
Yeah.
and then you're trying to pass your turn. But those rush
Right.
effects can be really good for, Kojo or Basira as well. And if you can play, like a 2-3 mana rush card,
Yeah.
and then just play a little 1 mana card to get that activator,
Right.
this is a
That's
good
huge.
contender for that.
That makes a lot of
Right?
sense, yeah. And then the next turn, what you do is you just tap that card, and then
Exactly.
pass, and then now your Halua is huge, and that's
Exactly.
really awesome. Gets that. Soul is really going to be able to benefit from this for sure.
Yep. And then you can use it on Halua,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that brings up another point is the gigantic, right?
Yeah.
So if your Halua is gigantic and you can put another 2 boosts on it,
Yeah.
that's huge. If you're running the rare, it also gives it a tough.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think that tough is super important because Halua is so easy to remove because it's a 0 mana card.
Yeah, because you're passing so early and
Yeah, they just save their off you goes or whatever. And so if you're able to just delay a little bit, wait for their mana to get up to that 3 cost,
Yep.
you play this thing and now their 2 cost removal is just
exactly
useless. Yeah.
Exactly. Speaking of gigantic, another one that comes to mind is just the Leviathan Halua.
Yeah.
Again, the alt art, just had to show that one again.
Yeah.
Such a cute card
It is so
from
cute, yeah.
from the last set, but this has tough on it as well, right?
Yeah.
So if you're stacking it, you've got a gigantic. Obviously, it's going to take quite a bit of mana, but
Mm-hmm.
if you can kind of, maybe you're playing Kojo or Vasir and you're ramping a little bit, or even Soul, right? Like, put this down. You can now have tough 2 on it. It's gigantic. It's got an extra 2 boost.
It's
like,
huge, yeah. The winner of the qualifier, the winter qualifier, played Halua, played a unique Halua
Okay.
in their deck, and it destroyed, it won them the game.
Oh, really? Okay, I
Yeah.
didn't see
So I
that.
think this, that extra little bit of tough, that extra little bit of and gigantic, being able to put those big creatures out, and then just removal in Altered is very difficult to play because it's just a dead draw otherwise.
Yeah.
And usually you don't want to kill those 1 mana cards that Sigismar is playing out. But so people play less and less of removal. But now we're going to have some huge removal targets inside of Bravos, and I think that's going to make it very powerful.
Yeah, for sure. And then another thing that I want to mention about that 1 mana slot is a mechanic that I play in my deck and that we are going to start seeing more in Bravos, and you see it in Axiom a lot actually, is putting a card from your hand into reserve to get a trigger.
Yes,
Right? And again, you don't want to be putting super high value cards into reserve, but something like this, you can put it in reserve. It's 1 mana, so it's easy to get back out.
Yeah.
Right? So that you're not overloading your reserve. You can play it out even just to play it out to kind of after you. It's going to stay on the board. You can get that longer term value out of it. So I like cards like this to, use for effects like that. And we're actually getting a card that has that exact text, which is you may put a card from your hand in reserve to draw a card.
Yeah,
don't want to focus on this too much because obviously it's not our reveal, but I'm so excited for this card. I could talk so much about this card. Like that's just
more draw for Bravos is a scary thing for sure. Yeah.
Okay, and then lastly, the point that I want to say for Bravos is you can't really talk about boosts in Bravos without mentioning Basira,
of course, yeah.
right? Sometimes Basira can have an issue where you just go a turn without activating
of course,
her ability.
Yeah, that wastes you're just playing a turn without your ability.
Exactly,
that's crazy.
And you're losing so much value there. So being able to have something like this on the board, right? Even if you don't use it that turn, but you gain your boost another turn, that's now on the board for you to utilize, kind of like how Milk would be, right?
And I also think that because Basira, really, a lot of it comes down to wanting to save that boost as well for the very end, right? Because it's not as good as, like, by default, it's not as good as Sigismar. Sigismar just gets their 1/1, right? But it's still a 1/1/1 that you can give out. And the benefit of Basira is that you can put it anywhere, in either expedition. So you can win and just get over that last little bit. And so being able to play that 1 mana spell and then play your creatures and just hold that off until the very end is going to be really huge, as well as not having to play as many boost triggers. I think that's really cool because in Basira, like you're saying, you need to play Chiron, you need to play Fire Rabbit, you need to play all these things that give boosts. And if you're not playing them, then you're losing out on your trigger. But now you can play maybe 1 or 2 less of those commons and free up those slots for something else, which is really great.
Yeah. Because with the expedition permanent, obviously if you win that lane, it goes away, but you can kind of use it to boost your other expedition and keep it around longer too, right?
Yeah. So you win, like, you can't win this side, so you boost your other side just to like activate your trigger and get those couple extra.
Or just go for the tie, right?
Yeah, that is huge.
So I mean, more tools to give more boosts, like, just makes Basira more powerful. And then actually I do have one more thought here that I wrote down. And so Rider's Mask, when I look at it, it kind of feels like a mashup of 2 very specific cards. All right.
Okay.
We've already mentioned Milk.
True.
Obviously, right?
Like same colors is good.
Same colors. It's a 1/1. It's an expedition permanent. It's when a character joins. Obviously, you know what the differences are, but it really reminds me of Milk. And the other card it reminds me of is it isn't obviously Bravos Bastion as well. But in Axiom specifically, you need to tap it and you get that boost on the next character you play that turn. So it feels like they're kind of starting to pull elements from different parts of the game, earlier expansions, and maybe even kind of trying to slowly replace cards from set 1, maybe.
Right? Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
That kind of came to my mind. But it is a very good segue into our out of faction rare
Full Rider's Mask. Yes,
which just like last set happens to be in Axiom. Let's take a look at it.
So this is also this is the common version inside of Axiom, the 1/1 with tap, pay 1, the next character that joins my expedition gains 2 boosts. So paying 1 and then paying 1 again for those 2 boosts. So it is 2 for 2 as we have had before. But I think this makes a lot of sense inside of Axiom. As we've seen before, getting a lot of those crazy amount of boosts or those rares inside of Axiom, they can use them incredibly well. So we have to be careful.
Axiom loves their boosts, right? They're always figuring out way to boost, kind of like Bravos, right? But maybe even more so, right? Because it's Basira out of kind of Bravos that boosts the most. But it feels like, Trace is every turn they're just boosting multiple things. They love their permanents, obviously. Like, I think some versions of Traced are running like 5 different permanents in some cases.
It's pretty,
right, to have those options. And also this card plays into, I guess not a new mechanic, but it is a mechanic that seems to be becoming a lot more prevalent in this expansion, which is the condition that relies on having other exhausted cards and permanents. I don't think we saw that a lot in Ysmir, but it seems to be coming to Axiom a little bit more. An example is this card, Nikola Tesla, which reads, when you play me from reserve, I gain 1 boost per exhausted permanent you control and per exhausted card in your reserve, up to a max of 3 boosts, right? So
Huge, yeah.
this is obviously the rare, but you know, you can literally tap Rider's Mask. It's now exhausted. You play Nikola Tesla, which gives it the boost off of the
exhausted card
mask,
and the 2.
and you're stacking a boost off of this, right?
Easy to like 2. Well, I guess 3 mana from the boost, 3 mana from the tapping of the mask, but out of reserve. But still, 3 for 4 is pretty good statted. Plus, you're probably getting 1 or 2 extra from your other permanents that you control.
Which I'm curious. That wouldn't count to the max of 3 boosts.
Oh, definitely.
Then, right?
No, I don't think so.
That would be a separate max, right? Yeah.
Very cool. And I think in this as well, like Sierra has some very interesting exhaust mechanics and things like that you can play with. But I think this card's really going to shine in Trace. Like it might give Trace just a couple of extra tools, just because like they already play things like the Sap Sniffer, I think is what it's called, right? Sap Sniffer comes out of reserve. It can augment itself as it gets those 2 boosts, similar to how they currently interact with the Bravos Bastion. And so I think like those can be really, really interesting and powerful tools again, or, you know, augmenting something else along the way. So that's I think very, very interesting as we see.
Yeah, and we already mentioned, but Haven also exhausts, right?
Yeah,
exactly. So you technically exhaust Haven, exhaust Rider's Mask, right? And now you already have an extra 2 boosts coming out of there. So clearly perfectly fits into Axiom. The only tough part is that it is a rare. Rares are always tough to kind of slot into decks. It's not as easy to, you know, kind of just test decks with as it would be a common. Just throw it in and swap cards around. For rares, you really gotta think about it, and you're making some sort of sacrifice there. So
yeah, and it also I think is interesting that it, like you were saying with in Bravos, but in Axiom it doesn't quite work with some of the older cards, like Frankenstein, for example. Frankenstein activates arrow effects, but there are no arrow effects on this card, and so that makes it very difficult to interact with those kinds of abilities that existed before. So maybe we'll see some like new archetypes being built that are more about this exhaust mechanic, which is really cool. I'm excited for.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not like a huge Axiom player. I have played Axiom a bit, so I don't have as much thoughts as I do for Bravos. But I do think it has potential in both factions. So I think we got a good one this time.
I think we got a great one. I'm so excited for the rare. I think it's going to be so cool. It might be unplayable. Who knows?
Who knows,
the meta always gets shaken up, but 1 mana cards are, you should never forget about them.
That's right.
They always do something. They always pop up in the meta.
So otherwise, just in general, how you feeling for set 5? Are you looking forward to any specific heroes? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm super pumped for set 5. Like I was saying, the alt art's really excited about all those. That'll be really good. Tarun, the new hero, is very interesting. And Luna. I think there's so many options to give your opponent things and then get that like extra benefit for doing so, or giving them sheep. Like this feels like a really big build-up that's happened over a few sets to be able to enable this mechanic. That's really awesome. I also love mana manipulation, as when I played Atsadi a lot of, so seeing the mana seeds come out and that kind of thing. I think those are going to be really interesting to see how like people use them. I have no idea if they're going to be good or not, but it'll be really cool to. I think there's a lot of really interesting new things to experiment in this set, and that's what I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of always struggle with that. It's like there's so many cool new things that you can't try them all, right? Like I still haven't really played Soul, and I feel like I was so excited, but I don't know, I couldn't get there. Maybe this set, because again, she's getting more tools.
Yes, for sure.
But one thing that I'm really excited for, and I mentioned this in our last video, but I didn't see the tools coming yet. I said maybe in a future set. We can clip that. I said maybe in a future set we'll get more tools for the Foundry. And we're getting that. We're getting a lot of those effects. And it might even be possible that you don't need to play the Foundry permanent because you're getting that effect off of a lot of the discard abilities.
Right, yeah.
Or maybe you don't need to play 3 copies of the permanent. 1
Right.
or 2 might be enough because you don't need to rely on drawing it to be able to take advantage of that effect, to be able to trigger cards out of reserve from your hand.
Yeah.
And there's so many of those cards coming as well.
Yeah.
So many powerful effects out of hand. We showed one of them in the shell.
Yeah.
And the one last thing I want to show that I'm super excited for is just this Buddha token.
It's so good. Yeah. I'm excited to go print that off as soon as we can. We'll have to get it foiled and get it all in. So yeah, it's very pretty.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us again, guys.
Thank you so
Let
much.
us know what you think of the card. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Bye.